side, but retaining some length on this side, okay? So, to enable us to do that, we need to work with the back area. So to work with the back area, what we're going to do is an asymmetric cut on the back area, okay? So the back area is going to be on an angle, alright? So to do that, we're going to separate the hair into two, very similar to a one length, but we're going to have the parting or sectioning line over towards the one side, okay? So not on your centre like you would do with a one length, because it's not going to be the same length all the way across, okay? So we're going to section it on an angle, upside down V, on the one side, sorry, just above the occipital bone, going towards below the occipital bone.
We're going to do legs up in it.
Sorry?
Right,
Yeah, we'll work it.
So are you doing the parting on the side, more to the side, which is going to be the shorter side?
Yes, yeah. And then obviously you can see where it's angled down, this is going to be the longer side. And then I'm just carrying it straight across through to this side.
Is that going across straight or at an angle?
Yeah, just straight. So I've said an upside down V towards this side, but just straight on this side. So, what method of cutting do you think I'm going to use to create my weight line?
Sure.
Method. So like sort of point cutting. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to point cut my weight line. I wouldn't want to go straight across because that's too sharp, isn't it? And it's going to make it more difficult to blend in or soften up after. Okay? So, I'm going to take my weight line and I'm going to take a veil.
Can't see.
Sorry. So I'm going to take a veil and I'm going to bring it down like one length, so a 0-degree angle. I'm not going to bring it out because otherwise that's going to cause graduation. You're going to get a fake sort of weight line really, so not something established to work with, okay? So bring it down 0-degree angle and point cut it. Just put my weight line in. Right, so now my weight line's in there, I'm now going to follow that weight line down with the angle of my sectioning. So your sectioning is really, really important because now it's going down on an angle, okay? What type of hair do you think we wouldn't do this on?
Curly.
Yeah, really, really curly. Well, actually, you wouldn't do it on, you could do it on really, really curly hair, okay? If they were going to go with the curls and not fight against it, alright? Otherwise, you wouldn't do it on unruly hair.
So how would you cut it then? You'd cut it into the style and then let the hair bounce back and then
Yeah.
cut. Right.
At the back area though, you'd want to cut it in quite tight, wouldn't you? Because the curls would tend to stick out, so this area would look quite messy. Alright, so you'd have to cut it in quite tight. And they would have to be back in within 4 weeks, wouldn't they?
So it's tiny.
Yeah, okay. Right, so now I've got my weight line. What I'm now going to do is take vertical sections, bring it straight out, and what angle do you think I'm going to do? 45, yeah. So I'm slipping my fingers to what time?
2.
Yeah, excellent. It's 2 o'clock.
I love how you look at the time.
So I'm slipping my fingers to 2 o'clock, keeping my knuckles at 8 o'clock. Okay, all the way down. Now, next section, I'm going to either use my weight line as guide, or you can over-direct it back to your first point. Okay, because it's going to make it gradually longer. Yeah?
you do the bob, but you're just doing it.
Yeah,
on
on one side.
So the first cut is straight, and then the second cut's diagonal. Is that what you said?
So the weight line you go
No,
across.
the first section you picked first, and then the second one you've done it 45 degrees angle.
They're all at 45-degree angle, but I've done it straight out 45 degree, and now I'm bringing everything back over.
What, the first one was?
Yeah.
That's the first one.
Okay. So as I go through towards the other side, it's being over-directed back. So now I'm not going to have much left to cut off, am I? Okay, so now it's nicely graduated in, but with it gradually getting longer towards this side. Okay, do you all understand that? Alright? So now what I'm going to do is just literally freehand chip into it to tidy up the hairline through here. I'm going straight across, but I'm going to leave a drop then to make it really, really dramatic. So I've left this to drop. Does that make sense? Yeah, because the further the drop, the more dramatic the cut's going to be, isn't it? Which is what people want, yeah? Okay, through this side area, just literally tidy up this side area. Okay? So can you see that from the side? It's going nice and neatly in, yeah? Alright, so now I'm going to take my next sections down. And what do you think I'm going to do with these next sections?
Blend them in.
Blend them in?
Orange segments the same or not?
No, I'm just going to bring it down like one length. That's all I'm going to do. Alright? So
to the baseline.
yeah, to the weight line.
Nothing.
Yeah, okay. So I'm bringing it down. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to create a very, very small lip. So do you remember me talking about a lip? So I'm going to create a very, very small lip. So what happens is my next section of hair is going to be like 1 millimetre longer than the underneath. So the thickness of that weight line is encouraging the hair to go under, and the weight line is a nice thick line then. Not like a sharp line that looks odd, but a nice thick line so it encourages it to go over. So when you have got like a 1 length bob, always create a lip because then it encourages the hair to sit under. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. Alright? Okay? Because some people don't want layers, they just want a bob to sit under, don't they? Okay, so a lip just encourages it. So look for my guideline. So just curve your comb up to look for your guideline, bring it down. You see that's already given a nice edge to it. Okay?
Yeah.
So you're just bringing all the hair that's left to that
Yeah.
weight line.
Again, a millimetre lip. always tease the hair under as well, okay, so you can see how it's sitting, alright? Okay, so now I've created that back area, I'm now going to move on to the side now. So you all happy with that? Yeah? Bro. So now I'm going to move on to the side. So with the side, we're going to create this sort of look, okay? So what angle do you think we are going to achieve for it to sit like this? 45-degree angle. But we're achieving a 45-degree angle, but how we're going to do it is actually on a 90. Alright? So we do the actual cut using a 90-degree angle, but you're going to end up with a 45-degree angle. Okay? Which you'll understand in a minute why, okay? So we're going to create a banana around the ear, or an inch all the way around the ear, but I think banana's easier to remember, alright? Not technical terminology though, alright? I'm going to press the hair away. Right, so just bear in mind, it might not look as neat as that because obviously with the blocks the hair goes out, okay? So we're just going to go through the motions and hope that I can flatten it down after. Alright, so what we're going to do now is take above the middle of the ear, start off with, I'm just going to take it below the ear, 0-degree angle, so I'm putting my baseline in now, my perimeter line, okay, so what the edges are, alright? I'm going to point cut it.
Is that like the shape around the ear?
Yeah, the perimeter, yeah. And then I'm going to go on an angle down towards the jaw, okay? Always go on an angle because when it looks straight, it's really masculine, alright? Unless you want that sharp, sort of edgy cut, like sort of on this blonde and brown one. But really it's more for, to go with the facial shape, the jawline and the cheeks, it's more flattering, okay, to go with the jawline on an angle. So now I'm going to go on an angle up. And some people, which was really popular when I was in the salon, about 5-6 years ago, they like tails, and they're going to come back. So where they'd have it really, really long on this side, but they'll just have like a little bit of hair, like that. So just like a tail. Okay? So people do like tails, so they got this length on this side, but they'll have like a little tail on this side. Okay, and it works, it does work. Alright? You're all like,
Is it
but
like
it
that
does
one that
work.
Colston was cutting for the...
Yeah, yeah.
Would you sort of blend it into like a curve, like...
Yeah, you can do a curve and then into the tail, but it does, I know you're all like, but it does work, okay?
To do with a razor, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just to soften it up, because you don't want like a
And then,
chunky piece.
yeah.
Yeah, okay? So, and then, once I've put my perimeter in front of the ear at the top of the ear, I'm then going to use that top of the ear to put my perimeter around the other side. So then I'm going to put it forward towards the face over the ear. And then you can see where I've cut above the ear, here, the shortest point there. And then you can see where my shortest point at the back area is. So all that in between can come off, okay, because it's all bulk and unnecessary hair. Alright, so we're going to take that away. And then, can you see how it sits nicely now? Alright, because I've blended it from that point to that point. So you're going to have a big corner here, and then that once we take that corner off, it's going to blend in. Alright, any questions? No? Bra. Right, so now... Has anyone got a water spray handy? you. Sorry. Okay, can I get that phone?
So it did have a bit
No,
of
it's
work.
12.
So you mean, so
I'm chopping me dolly today. Or I'm chopping and doing that.
Your voice is going to sound amazing on that video. Probably Dolly.
Right, so now I've put my perimeter in. My perimeter is now my guide for my graduation. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is pick up my perimeter line and bring it 90-degree angle straight from my sectioning line. Okay, so you're bringing it up and straight from my sectioning line. I'm then going to pull it out, and then I'm going to look for the hair that is just about to fall back onto the perimeter. Okay, because all the hair above that, alright, is bulk. So you can take all that away. So my perimeter, can you see my perimeter just about to drop? I'm getting rid of the hair above it, okay? So then I bring that back down, and I also do that on the other side. Bring it 90 degrees straight out from the sectioning line. Wait for my perimeter to drop, and it's dropping, so all that is bulk, okay? Now you don't have to do just this cut, you do it with every cut that you want it to come in. Okay? That's how you would shape it around the ears nicely, so it comes in. Because probably what you've done is cuts that with a basic layer, and you're just left with this roundness. To complement it a bit more, bring it in. So Kaylee, I think we've done it with your lady, didn't we? Yeah. So it comes in slightly angled down, and it's nicer, it complements the cut a lot better, okay? So now brings in next section. So another 1/2 inch banana.
Do you want to turn her a little bit that way?
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, director.
How long does this cut take?
Sorry?
How long does it take this cut?
Well, you're supposed to do it within 1/2 hour.
We're on 17 minutes.
Yeah, I'm talking through at the same time though, aren't I? So cut and blow dry is 45, isn't it?
Yeah.
So wet cut is supposed to be 1/2 hour. That's including your consultation and shampoo.
Gee. Oh, you've got that.
Yeah. I used to just run round with my trolley.
Trailing behind.
Yeah. Right, so now I'm bringing the previous cut at 90 degrees up to the next section. And then I'm waiting for the perimeter to drop. And now it's just about to drop, so I'm taking all that bulk away. I'm doing that exactly the same with the other side.
Is this the hardest cut? It's like the most complicated cut.
No, do you know what I think? The most complicated cut. Can you see how it's starting to come in?
Yeah.
Yeah? Right, so, no, I think the most complicated cut is your short graduation bob. Because it's so easy. It's easy to do. Once you've got it in your head, it's easy to do it, but then it's easy to mess it up if you don't section it and you don't put it out precisely. Isn't it? Because you can easily cause a step. So I think that is probably one of the hardest. Next section. So once you can stop using your clips, because do you know what, clips are more of a hindrance than a help. Yeah. So now I'm bringing my previous section up to the top section again, looking for my guide. There's my guide. Take that away. No, now I'm getting further away from the head. I can start point cutting it now. Okay, rather than club cutting it right tight down here. Okay. Okay, now my last section. Okay, so you can see how it nicely comes into the face now. So before, we had it coming out and then down, like that, so we would have hair coming here. Now we've got it coming out like that. So you can see what we've achieved now. What we've achieved now is a 45-degree angle. Do you understand now?
Yeah, can you do it?
You could do,
In
but
order
to be
to-
honest, shape it nicely, I would just stick to this.
I always find it difficult as well, like pointing your fingers.
Yeah,
down. I
pointing it
struggle.
down, getting a nice round the perimeter. You're
Yeah.
better off doing it
So
this
could
way.
you do that at the back as well?
You could do it at the
Cut
back.
The back of the neck.
You could do, but at the back of the neck it's easy to get it lining because you've got a bigger area, so it's easy to get it lining. Where this area is rounded, isn't it?
So it's easier.
Yeah. Okay. Is that all right? That makes sense? Bro. Okay. So right. So now we've done that, what we're going to do is shape this side. Okay. So do you remember with our short graduation, how do we know the length to leave at the short graduation? We used the what?
The back point.
The back, yeah. So where the back of the graduation fell, you then had like a guide, didn't you, to where to carry on our graduation. So we're going to do, what do we do here to separate?
Orange segments.
Half. Do you remember the half moon? Yeah? Right, so we do a half moon, so we separate it like a semicircle, yeah? Bring it down to like your one length. Nice and tight into the nape. And you can see where your graduation stops, okay, and then that's where your line. So your graduation stops there, and then you start putting your line in. You go straight across. Now you can point cut or club cut, whichever you're more happier with. Okay, so you can see how it nicely drops down. Alright? Happy with that?
No. Why does that look like there's like a bit?
This piece?
Yeah. Is that supposed to be there?
It's like a corner, isn't it?
Oh yeah, let's just blend that bit in. That better?
Mm.
I think it's because it's standing in the way. It's where those blocks fall over the ears, isn't it? It's like it separates itself, whereas it's done round the ear.
That's better, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dodgy hairline.
That's better.
Yeah? Alright, happy with that?
Yeah.
Okay, right, so now we've done that, what we're going to do is go on to the layers now. So, Jackie, you like those layers on there, don't you? So I'm going to show you how to do the layers, but obviously you can achieve them shorter towards that, okay?
So you would just leave that completely if they wanted it just like that?
Yeah, you could, if they wanted it just like that, you could leave that completely. Otherwise, put some layers through it, just to give it a bit more of an edge,
Yeah.
alright? So, with the layers though, what did we do with the short graduation? What layering technique did we do with the short graduation?
We over-directed it.
Yeah, we were achieving.
Keeping the weight in the back.
It's like a square layer.
Excellent, yeah, square layer, yeah. So we were achieving a square layer. So what we're going to do is similar to that again, because why were we doing a square layer?
To keep the
Take
weight
the weight out.
Yeah, brilliant, to keep the weight lining, because if we didn't do a square layer and we went into basic layers, that weight line would get blended in, wouldn't it? And then you're leaving your cut straight away then, you're leaving your short graduation and the preciseness of it coming down in. Alright, all understand that? Brilliant. Right, so what we're going to do, because it's asymmetric and we've got the majority of the length here, our square layer has to be on an angle. Alright, so what we're going to do is our profile line is going to start on an angle at the crown. I'm just going to section it, I'll show you, and I'm also going to draw it, okay? So it's going to start at the crown on an angle here, and then it's going to go right through to the front where the longest bit is. So she's straight on now, but our box is going on an angle.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, so this is the top of the head. All right, so you've got the crown here. Our box is going like that. Does that make sense? Eye, nose.
So from the shortest to the longest bit.
Yeah. Just as a top angle. Does that make sense? Do you all understand? Do you understand where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Bro. Right, so that's where our box is going on. Right, so what I'm going to do now is. What I'm going to do now is take my layers and put the length that I want my layers in then. So I'm going to take it at, as you can see, it's on an angle, isn't it? Because we've got it shorter on this side and longer on this side. So we're going to go through and we're going to point cut it. And then what we're going to do, if we went straight at that length, keeping that length all the way through, what would happen?
Just be like a line.
Yeah, and we'd lose a lot of the length through here, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
Bringing all that back to
Yeah.
that. Right.
So this is our guide, and then we're going to bring everything back to that.
So do you cut it on an angle?
Cut it on an angle.
Is it? Are you
Point
cut?
cutting it.
Yeah, but are you cutting it downwards? It looks like you're cutting it down. Does that make sense?
No, I think that's
No,
It's
it's
just the
Yeah,
way.
it's probably just right. Yeah, I wouldn't want to go like that because I'll be cutting my fingers all the time.
No, I don't mean it like that. Don't worry.
So you're cutting it on an angle?
Oh
or
no,
is it
no, straight. Yeah,
Straight. That's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
It's just your sections that are angled across.
Yeah.
Because of the way it's been sectioned off.
So now I'm going to start running out of hair because obviously the length needs to reach back to there. Does that make sense? So I've got a tiny, tiny bit to cut there. Okay, so now put it back into the parting. Now you can lose your parting now at this point because you've done your graduation and you've got your layers. So your layers, the shortest point is here and it's gradually getting longer. Can you see it working already? Yeah? So now this is your pivot. Okay, so you know how a pivot works. Everything goes from this point. Or like a circle with the radius pointing. Everything goes from that point. So you're now doing orange segments and you're bringing it up right up to that pivot and you're taking a little corner off. You may have a tiny corner, you may not have a corner at all, or you may have a big corner. If there's no corner at all, don't look for something to cut. Does that make sense? Yeah? So that is my pivot and I'm going to do orange segments all the way round, bringing it up. So you can see I've only got a tiny corner there to cut.
There's a lot more to remember on this, isn't there? Even though once it clicks in
Yeah.
your head, you'll see the style.
But
there is.
if you start, to be honest, you start
Because
to
it's not the
notice.
same thing all the way around.
No,
it's different.
but it's snippets of different cuts in
Yeah,
there,
yeah.
put together. Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yeah.
So you can see I'm working, I'm bringing everything back to that pivot.
So you're doing that 180-degree angle. now
Yeah.
then?
This is great, everyone's so quiet. I can tell the concentration.
Needs to change.
So are you taking every section at 180?
Yeah, I'm bringing it right up and I'm bringing it over. Now, if you haven't got hardly anything to cut, you just bring it up to 90. But if you've got a lot to cut, like your long graduation, you want to retain as much length as possible. So you bring it over to 180. So it's going to be between 90 and 180, isn't it? Okay?
Basically going from cutting like that.
Yeah.
Cutting like.
So you've got as much length to drop as possible. Because you wouldn't want to take a huge amount off, would you? Okay? Because you're then going to get rid of the length. Alright? Right, so. Now you can see your cut working now. Oh, straighten her up a bit.
Did you actually pick up the fringe when you
Yeah,
done
I picked up
section?
and I brought it right back over. Okay, so now I've put my layers in. What I'm going to do now is put my fringe in. Okay, now when you do your fringe, that's your opportunity to get a bit more weight taken out of the front area to make it a bit more fuller. Okay, because obviously where the layers come all the way back to here, it's still a bit heavy. Now if you want it a bit lighter again, like you said, Jackie, that's your weight taken out with your fringe. Okay. Right, so I would never really usually do the fringe with the scissors, alright, because it's such a sort of sharp haircut. It's always better off going with the razor, alright. So, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to go with the scissors this time. No, I'll go in the razor actually. Because you're all happy with using the razor now. I think you've got over that scariness now, haven't you? Like touching a razor.
That's about it, touching it.
But once I've bought one, I'm playing with it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously these are brilliant. I'd definitely say go with these. Right, so now I'm going to do my upside down V. And I'm taking my wider part of my V over to the side with the most hair. Bring that forward. Oh, it's a real annoying beep, or is that me?
It's a computer, I think.